Hi there, this is Lynne with Vicki Bags. I hope you're having a really good day. So this is the project that I have for us this week, this darling little red and white polka dot bag. Okay, what's new about this design, we have not done one like this before, but it's got the front and the back, it's got a separate bottom, and it's got two sides. Okay, so it's a completely different design, but it's very, very easy to make, and it's just going to open some doors for you, okay? I have made them tall, I've made them really wide, where the pockets were very, very wide. They're really, really, really versatile. But this is just going to go in my Etsy store, so I thought I would show you how I'm going to make this. Man, there's just a lot of amenities to it too, and I made this darling little pouch to go with it. It's a real cute Disney theme. I think it's great. We did not cover the pouch in this video, but you have seen me make pouches before, the ones with the handles, and I just didn't put handles on this, and I didn't use any gussets. So it's just a very small, darling pouch. Isn't that cute? Okay, so some of the amenities about this bag that I just absolutely love is look at how thin the strap is. It's only a ½ inch. And I found this tri-glide at Walmart to make this adjustable. Isn't that cute? It's little diamonds, okay? And then, of course, we have our zipper panel. There's two pockets on the inside. Okay, there they are. They're nice and large. And it's just a very roomy, wonderful little bag. So, okay, so I'm just going to gather my things and we'll get started, okay? Okay, for this bag there are a lot of pieces and a lot of small pieces. So I'm recommending that you get a pencil and paper and write these down. Because I don't want to take the time to put it in my description box. It takes up a lot of room, and I just feel like once I get done with this video, I want to go ahead and get it up for you. I don't want to spend a lot of time typing. So please take a second and get pencil and paper, and we will go over all the pieces of this darling little bag. Okay, so your focal fabric, I chose this darling little red and white. I'm kind of going with a Disney theme here. It's just the perfect bag for my Etsy that I just need to fill that spot with something Disney. So that's why I'm going to have you with me when I make this bag today. Okay, so here is your main focal fabric, and the size is 10.5 inches across by 7.5 inches down. You're going to need two of those. They are interfaced with Pellin 808 heavy interfacing, and over that I put Pellin fusible fleece. So, and that's on both of these, and it just makes it really, really nice. You don't have to quilt it or anything, because we're going to be putting pockets too on at least one side, and I have just found that it's fine the way it is. I don't really need to put the quilting on there, okay? So again, 10.5, 7.5. The very bottom piece is going to be black. I thought it'd be fun to have the bag sit on the black piece, just, you know, to kind of keep the dirt at bay. At least you won't be able to see it as much. This piece is 4 inches wide by 10.5. So that's going to sit right here. Your two pocket pieces, side pocket pieces, are 4 inches by 7.5. So this is how that is going to look. Again, it's heavy interfaced and fusible fleeced. Two of those, because they are going to sit on your sides. So basically the shell of the bag are just these 5 pieces, front and back, side, and then your bottom. It's all going to make sense when we get started, I promise you. It's going to be very easy. Here are 2 tabs, and they are 4 inches by 1 inch. And you can do anything you would like. I chose the really small, medium-sized dots. These are the large dots. This is the medium dot for the zipper that we're going to be putting on, and I'll show you that one in a minute. But again, these are 4 inches long by 1 inch, and I already lightly interfaced, folded in half, and just gave a quickie press. Our pockets are going to be kind of 3D. Okay, so these need to be a little bit wider than the 4 inches. So I have 2 pockets. They too will be accented with the black, so I'll show you how we do that. And these pockets, after they're sewn with the accent piece on, will go on the side pocket, and it'll stick out like that. So the side of your bag will have a nice pouch, little type pocket. Both of these will have them. Okay? So the measurements are on that is 5 1/4 wide by 10 inches down by 10 inches down. And my accent black piece, you don't have to have this, but I chose to because I think it's just going to really be fun for you to learn new ways to dress up your bag. So my little accent piece is 2 inches by 5 1/4. Okay, so basically it'll sit like this, and it'll go on the side pocket like that. It's very, very cute. Very, very easy too. Okay, so we have 2 of those. They are lightly interfaced. So I'm going to give you the measurements for these really quick. So it's 10 inches up and down by 5 1/4 inches wide. Then you have your little accent piece for the top, which is 5 1/4 inch wide by 2 inches. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and move those out of the way. We're also going to have a pocket on the outside here with the zipper. We haven't really done one like this before, so it's just going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so this is just a dress zipper. Okay, it's not a real heavy-duty one like the one we're going to use on the top of this bag. And I chose black. Okay, so you can use any coordinating color you want. It has to be at least 10 inches long. Okay. Although we do have tabs that we're going to put on either side. If you've ever seen me make some of my pouches and things like that, you'll see that we're going to use tabs. It just gives it a little dressier look on the pocket, okay? You already have the measurements for the little tabs. So at least a 10-inch zipper. So here's the main body. We're going to have another pocket. That's going to have a black accent. And the measurements for this front pocket with the accent is 10 inches up and down by 10 1/2 inches wide. 10 inches up and down by 10 1/2 inches wide, because that's going to sit here on our main focal piece. This is 2 inches, and this is going to be part of that pocket, so it's 2 inches by 10 1/2. Then we have a separate piece, And this is 2 inches by a little more than 10 and a half. I could have just cut it at 10 and a half, but I just left it the way it was. Because what I want to do is, here's our front of the whole entire bag. Here's your focal piece. Here's your new pocket. We pretended like we sewed this on. We're going to have our zipper like this. But we don't want to leave the top of it raw, so we're going to fold this and cover this piece as well. It's going to make a really nice front of the bag. Okay? So again, this is 2 inches by 10 and a half. So that is basically the front of our bag. Okay, so I want to go over the inside lining pieces with you. A lot less going on the inside, but still cute. Okay, so we have our 2 main pieces of our lining, and they're of course going to be the same as the outside, so they're going to be 10 and a half by 7 and a half, lightly interfaced. Okay, 2 of those. Our 2 side pieces that I chose not to put pockets on are going to be 4 inches wide by 7 and a half. You have 2 of those, 4 inches wide by 7. Then you're going to have your bottom piece, which is 4 inches wide by 10 and a half. Okay, so that's going to sit like that, and this piece is going to come up, and that's going to be your inner part of the bag. Okay, so now you're going to need, because I want to do one side with a cute pocket in it. And so what I did was, I want to have some red. Remember how we did the lining with the accent with the black? Well, we're going to do the accent with the red on the inside. So my pockets, I like to usually make them 12 inches long by whatever width. But since I'm going to be adding a little bit of fabric to it, it's got to be cut just a little bit shorter, okay? So basically, this is cut 10 inches by 10 and a half. It's going to be for the pocket. But I'm going to go ahead and add a little red to the top of that. Okay, so what I did was I cut out a piece of fabric that is 4 inches by 10 and a half. Okay, and then these are our panels for the very top of the bag. Okay, and I cut these longer than I needed, because I never really know exactly what to do with the panels, how I'm going to finish it until I get it all together. Okay, I don't want to have them be too short. That would just be not good at all. So I cut these and lightly interfaced these. There's 2 pieces, and they're 12 inches by 3 and a half. 2 of those, 12 inches by 3 and a half. And those are going to sit on the outside of our zipper, like that, on the top of our bag. Isn't that cute? I did choose a heavier duty zipper. It is a YKK zipper, which I just love their zippers. This is a number 5, and it's a jacket zipper, so it's really long. We'll have to cut it down. Okay, but I really like this. I like getting them from WAWAC, but you can also get them off of Etsy. WAWAC is WAWAK. A lot of times they have buy 2, get 1 free, or buy 1, get 2 free. They are always having a sale. I just love that company, and they seem to get them to me almost overnight, unless it's on the weekend. So they're very fast. I just love them. Okay, so, and then you're going to need at least a 12-inch zipper, even longer if you want. And then we're going to put a tab on the end. So that is that. And then our handle's going to be very small, very thin. It's going to be cute, very cute. We usually have a 1-inch handle, but on this bag, we're just gonna have a 1/2-inch wide handle unless you care to change that. So I lightly interface two 30-inch pieces of black, okay, and we're gonna join them. So we have two pieces, and I'll show you how to join those together so they look flawless. Okay, and they're lightly interfaced, I already said that. And then we have our two tabs that are 2 inches wide by 4 inches wide that are gonna sit on the sides of the bag once it gets put together. Okay, so we can have our little ring on there, and then our swivel hooks will fit onto that. But look at how cute my Tri-Glide is. I got this at Walmart. Isn't that cute with the little diamonds, and it holds a 1/2-inch strap? That's going to help me make it adjustable. I just think that is so cute at Walmart. And then we have our two little D-rings, 1/2-inch D-rings. You guys can use whatever you would like. This is what is going to work with my project. And then I have my two small swivel hooks, okay, that are going to hold my strap onto the little D-rings. So I'm excited. I'm going to gather my things and we'll get started right away. Okay, so we're going to work on our pocket on the front of one of our panels, okay? So the first thing I want to do is I want to take the black, lay it down on the top of my fabric here, and I'm going to sew about 1/4 of an inch across. Okay, then I'm going to take it over to press it. And I want to press it really well, like this. Then I want to take this part, the bottom of it, and I'm going to sew that like that. And when I come back, I'll show you what I have, okay? I'll see you in a second. Okay. So now it's time to turn it right side out. And as usual, you get a choice to put this exactly where you want it on your pocket. So you can leave it in the middle. You could have it be the top piece with a little like piping look to it here on the top. You can bring it down just a little bit. Okay, and you can even just have the black showing on the top. So you have a lot of options. Do whatever you would like. I'm going to keep the theme that I have designed in my mind for this bag, and that is having just a little black, about 3/4 of an inch of the black showing. Okay, so I need to take it over to the ironing board, and what I'm going to do is just press it. Time to really nice on. So what I'm going to do is take my zipper, and I'm going to open it just a little ways down. And my tabs have already been folded in half. If you remember, they were 1 inch by 4. I lightly interfaced them and made a little seam. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay away from the metal part, okay? I'm going to come down about, I don't know, 1/2 inch beyond those. I don't want to sew anywhere near those. Close the zipper the best I can. the zipper out of your way. And I'll show you exactly where to put. If you've never sewn over a zipper before, it's really not a problem when you have a nylon zipper. Don't ever do it with a metal zipper. Okay, so I'm going to go very slow. I'm going to put my stitch length at about 3. Go up over the zipper. Okay. Lift your needle. You can do it again right behind that if you would like. I'm not going to do that. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And then what I'm going to do is just lay this down and see how far in I want to come. And I'm going to come in about an inch. That's where I want my zipper mechanism to start. Because I want to show some of this decorative red, the small dots. So if you're using something completely different here, you're going to want to show a little bit of your fabric. It's just a real decorative touch on your bag, okay? So that's going to help me to see on this side how far I need to come in. And I'm going to come in about an inch from the edge here. And that's where I'm going to sew that part on. Okay, this is a good time to actually cut my zipper. I always leave a little bit on the back side of it, okay? I used to cut it real close to this, but I don't anymore. I leave about a 1/2 inch. It's just wise. And save your zipper. You can put a new pull on it and you have another zipper for another project. And then I go ahead and I look at this one and I make sure I get rid of the metal parts of that zipper. So again, it's about a 1/2 inch away, okay? So I want my zipper mechanism, the pull part on my left, okay? I'm going to set this about an inch from the end. I want to make sure they're even on both sides. And I want a really good space in between my zipper and my black. You probably can't see it. I can. And you have a couple options. We always seem to do this with our zippers, is I like to put little dots of glue to kind of hold it in place. I don't like to use pins, but you're more than welcome to do whatever you would like to do. So I'm going to take my glue here, and this is my Fabri-Tac Premium Fabric Glue. I just love this. I use it for so many projects, okay? I'm going to pull this away, and I'm just going to add a couple small, tiny pieces as close to the edge as I can, because I really don't want to sew through the wet glue, okay? And I'm just going to add some little dots like that. Very little, very small amount. Zipper. I'll pick up my pocket, I'm going to make sure I'm about an inch from the edge, this edge, inch in, and perfect distance from my zipper teeth and the top of my pocket. And then I'm just going to make sure I like the distance between the zipper and the pocket. And you know what? It's a really good idea to just take about a 5-minute break and let that sit, and then we're going to sew it on. Okay, so I have you zoomed in nice and close. I want you to be able to watch me put this, sew the zipper on. So I'm going to line my zipper foot up to the edge of the black part of my pocket, and that's the perfect distance that I want to put this on, okay? So I'm going to bring this zipper down about 3 inches just out of my way before I move it back up. And I'm going to back tack and then slowly go forward. I want that line to be beautiful. You're going to see it. Okay, I'm close to my zipper, so I'm going to just raise my needle a little bit, but not all the way, but raise my presser foot. Take the zipper, turn the whole thing, and I'm just going to go past it, set this down, and we're going to take this all the way to the bottom. Slow so that you have a beautiful stitch line. I'm using red on black. Well, you're really going to see that if I don't make a nice line. Go back to here. Okay. So I'm going to fix my camera so you can see this. Okay, so that came out really nice. I hope you can see that. Okay, so the thing is I don't want to leave the top of the zipper raw when I put my pocket on. And by the way, this bag is so unique. You can actually put the pocket within, half an inch of the bottom. No lower than that because our seam is going to be right in there. But about a half inch from the bottom is just perfect. Line up my little dots here. Make sure this is even on the top. Okay, so before I put this piece on, that is right there, I want to go ahead and sew this on. Okay, so I'm going to make 2 seams. The first one's going to be very, very close to the edge. The next one's going to be just a little bit above that. Again, make those really, really nice and neat, okay, because it's going to be seen. It's on the very front of your bag. Okay, so the pocket is sewn on. Wish it was a little brighter in here. You could see the stitch work, but I'm sure yours is just absolutely beautiful at home. So now you're going to take your top piece, and it should be 2 inches wide by at least 10 and a half. I made mine just a little bit longer. But what we're going to do is I'm going to take it over to the ironing board, and we're going to make it very, very much like a strap. I'm going to fold it in half and iron that. Then there should be a seam right here in the middle, a folded seam. And I'm going to take these 2 edges, bring them to the middle, okay? And then I'm going to fold it like this. And this is what you're going to end up with. It's going to be just like one of the straps. Okay, and you're going to, of course, do that all the way across. Okay, so this is what your little strap will look like. And the idea is to lay it down the perfect distance from the zipper teeth as you want. And you can pin it. You can do a little glue. You can do whatever you like. The idea, though, is I'm going to put my zipper foot back on, and your first edge will be right here, as close to the edge as you can get it without going over onto your zipper. You want it to look very much like the first one we did, okay? And basically, it was just a really nice, fun design to cover the top of your zipper. Okay, so if you want to do that with your zipper foot, it might even work well with your other foot, but I prefer to use my zipper foot for this part. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and when I come back, and while I'm there, I'm also going to do a little line across the top. So it is going to look like a strap when I'm done with it, but it certainly is just a decorative stitch, and it's just going to hold down the top of, decorative edge. It's just going to hold down the top of your zipper. Okay, so I'll meet you back here. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Your little strap is sewn on to the very top, and you have a wonderful pocket. Okay, so I think that's cute. I think that's the front of your bag so far. I think that's really, really cute. Okay, so here's our two side panels, and we're going to make pockets for them. So I had you cut them out wider than the pocket so that we can put a pleat in it and make our pocket 3D. So what I want you to do is to take your larger piece, and I want you to take your accent, lay it down right sides together. We're going to do a little 1/4 inch seam. To the ironing board. We're going to do the same thing to the other one, and we're just going to press this open. Okay? When I am done with that, I'm going to bring this piece up, do another 1/4 inch seam, and then turn it outside, right side out, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I did finish both of these, and before I take it over and press it, I wanted to show you that I want to line this up with this one. So the pocket is going to sit here like that. And when I put this pocket on my side piece, I would like these to match up. Okay? Because this is about where it's going to sit on my pocket. So what I'm trying to say to you is I'm going to let this black piece be 3/4 of an inch, just like this piece is. And then same with that one. So I need to take it over to the ironing board and give it a good press. And I'll show you how to attach these to your sides. Okay. What I want to do now is I want to place this about a 1/2 inch up and line up one side. So 1/2 inch up, line up one side. Just to tack it on, as close to the edge as I can, well within the 1/4 inch. Just right on the edge. I'm just going to sew it on. And what that did is it kept me from using any pins to hold this in place. Okay, I'm just tacking it on. I'm going to lift it up. Make sure I'm still a 1/2 inch up on this side. Don't let it crawl up or crawl down. You want it exactly about a 1/2 inch. And now I'm going to tack that on again. Again, this is just to avoid having to pin it and have it shift when I'm trying to make my little pleat. Very, very close to the edge. Okay? Do the same thing with this side. making sure it's even across the bottom. I don't want any surprises. Okay. I stitched back where it was, which was about 2.5. All right. Okay. So basically, you're going to have some decisions to make. I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can make this pocket 3D. Sometimes, one of my favorites is I just take my 2 fingers and I simultaneously bring it in like this, and then I flatten down the middle, and it gives me a 2-sided pleat. Do you see that? And then you can sew it along the bottom and it stays, and it does open really nice. Another way you can do it is just bring it in a tiny bit on both sides, bring it in about 1/2 inch, push the whole thing down, to where you have a small pleat that's wider. Can you see that? So you do have options. But for this project, what's going to work really well for me is option number 1. I'm going to come in. Make sure that's nice and neat. You're more than welcome to grab a pin or 2 at this point and just put it here and here. But I am opting to not do that. I've made so many of these, I'm not going to worry about it. Kind of know where I'm going. Okay, so that's my first line of stitching, very, very close to the edge. I always like to do one more, just a little tiny ways over. Just to kind of support it. I picture things like cell phones and things like that being in here. Might carry a little weight. I don't want a wimpy seam. Okay. Look at how cute. Isn't that cute? So I'm going to go ahead and do the next one. I'm going to take it over to the ironing board, and I'm just going to press the bottom of it like that. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way up like I have in the past, and you can do whatever you want, but I'm just going to kind of press here and then stop and let it be more 3D. Okay? So I will see you in just 1 minute. Okay, guess what? It's time to start to assemble the outside of our bag. And this is something you've never seen me do before. You've seen some of my pictures on Facebook of different projects that I have made using this technique. So basically, here's the front of my bag. I'm going to take one of the side pockets, make sure that it's up, okay, with the top of the bag. I'm going to lay it down on this side and match up the side, okay? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to sew about 1/4 inch is all, smaller stitch, a little bit smaller stitch, okay, than normally. Usually I do a 2.5, I'm going to do a 2. And I'm going to sew 1/4 inch in, and I'm going to sew all the way down, and I'm going to stop at 1/4 inch from the bottom and do a small back tack. I'm not going to go all the way. So take a few minutes or a few seconds and just pin this. going to really open up some doors to your purse designing. I don't know if all of you know, I know some of you know, but I have never read a pattern in my life. All this was just watching other people do things and me, you know, making some other things my own, okay? All right, so we're at the machine. I'm going to start here at the very top. I'm going to go down here like this until I get to 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to back tack and stop. So actually, I'm going to start there 1/4 of an inch up. It's just easier for me. Okay, so I've come up about 1/4 of an inch. Smaller stitch length. Go slow, and I'm going to do a little back tack here. And I'm going to continue up. Since we're at the top, I can go the whole entire distance, all the way to the edge and back tack. Okay, I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, but this never got attached at the bottom here. Okay, as a matter of fact, I might have gone a little far, so I'm going to take a second and just pull that out. You need this so that you need this unsewn so that you can pivot and make your corners. Well, I back tacked that really good, didn't I? Okay. So you need that open. Okay, it'll make a lot more sense as we get going. So now I'm going to take my other pocket, lay that one down. Go ahead and flatten, it's not going to hurt anything. I'm going to pin this side. You know, if it helps you, the first few times I did this, I took a pen and I put a mark where I wanted to stop, because you need to leave 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of this open at the bottom. So I just put a dot there, and that 1/4 inch in and 1/4 inch up. I put a dot there and it shows me stop there, okay? Okay, so this time I'm going to start at the top. I can go all the way to the, we're going to sew. We're not leaving anything open because it is the very top. We only need the bottom parts open. So back tack. Nice thick pieces. I hope your machine is doing really well. Go very slow. This is my heavy-duty machine, but I have done plenty of these on my other machine, and it was fine. I just needed to go slow. I'm approaching my red dot. I'm going to stop right on it and go back a little bit and just give a little back tack. Okay, so beautiful. And this is still left open, so I have some pivot room. Okay, so you can see that this is actually how the bag is going to go. It actually bends the whole opposite way. Okay? The next part I'm going to do is not the back side. We're going to add the bottom right now, which I chose to make mine a black piece. Okay? goes really, really well with this project. So I need you to really pay attention to this part. I'm just going to lay it down here, and I'm going to make sure there's a 1/4 of an inch. It's a 1/4 of an inch too long. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want to do. It needs to match. I'm going to put this here for a second. It needs to match, if this were open, the other side. Okay, so it needs to match that perfectly. So you lay it down, make sure it's exact on both sides, and you're going to pin this here. You're going to take your pen, and you need to mark your line 1/4 to 1/2 inch away from the sides. That is exactly where you need to stop. Okay? See my 2 marks? Okay? That's where I'm going to start sewing, is on the red line, 1/4 of an inch from the edge. I'm going to do a small back tack and continue going. Approaching my red line, I'm going to back tack right before it. There's the bottom of my bag. Turn the whole thing over. Now we're going to attach the back of your bag. And how you do that is, if there was a zipper pocket or some kind of pocket on this side, which we didn't, we left it blank, you need to make sure that that's going to be at the top of the bag. It would be at the top, so that when you open this, your zipper would be here, or the very top of your pocket, and that'll make a little bit more sense in a minute. So you're just going to lay this down, always right sides together, especially with this project. Go ahead and draw a line on your 1/4 to 1/2 inch mark, 1/4 to 1/2 inch, 1/4 to 1/2 an inch. And pin it. It's really important that when you cut out these pieces, you really took your time to accurately cut them. Okay, so I'm going to start on my line, my little dot, back tack, continue on. You guys are going to love this style of bag. Very versatile. You can do it for any size you want. Now you have your 4 separate sides. Coming up to my dot, I'm going to back tack. And I'm done. Okay. A little further away than I wanted, but we'll see how that plays out. It should be fine. Okay? Okay. Now hopefully you can see exactly where you're at, but what we're going to do now is we're going to fold this up on its side, this one pocket. We're going to fold this all the way over. you're going to start to see why you left that 1/4 to a 1/2 inch open. Because now you need to join the bottom with the bottom of the side pocket. If that was sewn together, you never would be able to get in there to make an accurate corner. So you're just going to line up those 2 pieces. Don't worry about what all this is doing. That's not in your way at all. Okay, so I want to show you again what you did. This was open. All you need to do is you're going to attach the bottom of your bag to the side pocket. Put a pin in the middle, because I want you to take the time to take your marker now and come in 1/4 to a 1/2 inch from here and from here. That's where you're going to start to sew. You're going to sew all the way across the bottom until you get to 1/4 to a 1/2 inch from here. And you're going to stop sewing and give a little back tack. I'm right on my dot. Put my needle down, do a small back tack, and continue on 1/4 of an inch. Till I get to my red dot. Do a back tack, don't go any further. Trim that. And now, this part of the bag is connected to the bottom. It's time to do the other side. You're just going to lay this down. I'm actually really glad I did the black bottom now. It helps you to see a little better of what is happening. So because there's a gap here, I'm able to pull it around and turn that corner. Take my pen, and I definitely want to make a mark. It took me a long time before I really didn't need that mark anymore, but I'm just doing it so that you can get an idea of how this looks. And just fold this other piece out of your way. It's not going to harm it to manipulate it. Set this down on my red dot, do a small back tack, come across. Where do you accumulate the threads with this particular one? Do you see what's happening here? Okay, we're on the home stretch. We're almost done with the whole outside of the bag. So again, you'll see why you left this open, so that you can turn this and fit it into that little spot right there. Okay? So we're going to just line up that edge. I'm going to draw a dot. Stop right there. It doesn't want to draw. Fine. Line it up, and I get to go all the way through that side because it's the very top of the bag, and you want to go ahead and go all the way through. I still pin these because they want to pull and tug away. hopefully you're starting to see why you needed to leave that space at the bottom so that you can manipulate the corners and make them fit. Through it, because then you won't be able to open up the bag. It'll be stuck to the other side. So see that? It's connected now. This is your last piece to connect. I need to draw my dot. And I'm going to go all the way through up to the top. This time I'm going to start at the top. Back tack, go all the way up. I'm going to flatten that out. This cute box we made. Look at that. It's done. We did the whole outside of our bag. Before we turn it right side out, and you know what? You can kind of poke a hole in the corners. You can't put your finger through there. You really did close it up. Okay? Every once in a while, I'll have to go back in and go a tiny bit further, but I have rarely ever had to do that. So I'm going to turn, before we turn it right side out, this is what I want you to do. So carefully. These seams are real bulky. We don't need it. It's going to interrupt your lining. So go ahead and fold all this over. Make sure it's clear on the other side. Very carefully, just trim away some of this. Very carefully. Okay, you don't want to lose any digits, okay? We just want to very carefully do that, and then very carefully just take off the corner. Just the very, very corner. Don't come in very deep. Get that out of my way. And I'm going to do this side, just ever so slightly. I sewed it between 1/4 and 1/2 inch, and I'm only taking off about 1/8. And I'm going to take off this little corner, just a tiny bit of it. I'm going to continue on with that, turn it right side out, and I'll show you what we found. Okay, so this is what it looks like now, the outside of your bag. Isn't that fun? I love that. Okay, and you know what's cool about this is almost the same size as your cutout. You didn't have to sew a lot of it away because of your gussets, but I just think that came out really, 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 really nice. So now it is time to work on our liner. So here are your two main pieces. Only one I chose for a pocket, but if you care to do an inset zipper or actually pockets like we did on the outside for your inside, you know, feel free to do that. I'm just showing you some techniques, but you are your own designer. Okay, but this is going to be pretty simple on the inside. So no surprise here. Here's my pocket. And I cut out a piece that, what size is this one? this is 4.5 by 10.5. And I'm just going to, again, everything is lightly interfaced. I'm just going to sew this on right sides together and 1/4 of an inch. We're just making a pocket. We've done this so many times, but I like to just make sure that we're all on the same page. Back tap. I haven't been doing this, but I need to start remembering to sew onto a piece of fabric. Do my own thread saver hack. Okay. So here is my beginning of my pocket. And if you'll remember, I'm going to take it over to the ironing board, iron that flat, and then I'm going to pick up this piece, make a seam, and it's just going to make a large tube. I'm not going to take you with me to do that, but I will be. Okay, so I already took it to the ironing board, and this is the design that I came up with. After I sewed the red on, I kind of adjusted it, and I wanted just the same amount of the dots on both sides, and then this side is just the red dots. So that came out cute. I like it. Okay, so on doing the pocket, you're going to want to only be 1/2 inch from the bottom. It's still out of your way when we sew up the sides, the sides. It's still going to be enough out of the way when you put on the bottom. But just about 1/2 inch, make sure it's straight across the top. If there's going to be any discrepancy, I'd rather it be at the bottom where you won't see it than at the top. See, this side is a little bit shorter, but I'm okay with that, okay? Just as long as the top looks really, really nice. So we're going to do the 2 stitches. I'm going to do the first one very, very close to the bottom. Whoopsie. My thread got caught. Don't you hate that when that happens? I'll try that again. Okay, continue on. My thread got caught. Do that again, just over, just a little bit, right above the other one. I'm really into this double stitch line. I think it really, really makes things more professional looking. Okay, this is an awfully big pocket by itself. I would like to put some kind of divider so that they can have 2 pockets. And I'll show you how I've been having a lot of fun with that lately. Is I lay it on my cutting board and I just kind of line up some kind of seams. Okay, so find the center. Piece of tape, and for this one I want them exactly even, the pockets. I don't want a short one and then a larger one. I want one exactly even. So this is my center square. I'm going to set that one here and here. I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew, this is the bottom by the way, this is the top. I'm going to go ahead and sew from the bottom of the pocket all the way up to the top. And that's going to leave just a tiny bit of room for maybe a pen, if you care to have a pen in there. It's just fun. I want you to do whatever you want with that pocket, but that is what I'm going to do with this one. I'm just going to follow the blue tape. When I get to the top, I want to make sure I do a really good back tack, knowing that that's going to get some wear. Go across. We're going to start at the top this time. Do a good back tack. Continue down the bottom, following the tape as close as I can without sewing through the tape. It's not the end of the world if you sew through the tape, it comes right off. But alrighty then. Cut my 2 threads off, there you go. And boy, that made a really nice double-sided pocket. So with this design, we're pretty much done with the lining. Go ahead and do something with this one if you care to. Maybe add, like I said, an inset zipper or another row of pockets, whatever you want to do. But I am actually done with mine. Okay, so this is the part where we're going to assemble it together again. And if you'll remember what we did last time, we just took one of the sides that does not have a pocket. And by the way, if you care to take some time to make some inside pockets, this is a good time and the only time you're going to have to do that. So what you would do is you would cut a 12-inch piece up and down, and this is 4, so you would cut a 5-inch piece and then follow the directions that we did. The 5 inches would make it bigger than this one, and you can make it 3D. So if you can go back in the video and copy that if you care to do that, okay? So I'm going to set this down. I think I'll get my pen at this point and make sure you have the bottom of your bag and the top of your bag. This is the top of my bag. Make sure you don't confuse those two. And on the bottom here, on my interfacing, I'm going to draw a circle at my 1/4 of an inch in and a 1/4 of an inch down. But the top, if you'll remember, you go ahead and sew all the way through. All the way through the top. Always back tack. I'm going to set this right on my dot. Continue up. I really love this design. It opens up a lot of doors to make a different style of a bag, doesn't it? Okay, left lots of pivot room for that. Take the other pocket. I'm going to start at the top this time, and I get to start right on the edge because we always want to sew through to the top. That we don't leave a space at all. Okay, and if you'll remember, we do the bottom piece now. if your fabric was cut correctly, it'll overlap the sides about 1/4 of an inch. And mine looks really good. Bring it all the way to the edge here. We're going to stop at about 1/4 of an inch on both sides. And also, I'm going to leave about a 4 to 5 inch gap here so that we can turn our bag. So on the other style that we were doing, we were leaving it at the bottom of the bag. Well, there is, this bottom piece is kind of there now. So this is, I always do it on my first piece, when I lay this bottom piece down, I always do it first before I attach the other side in case I forget. I forgot so many times I can't even tell you, and I have to pull that out with my seam ripper. So on this, we're going to do that now, okay? So we're actually going to pin it right there so I don't go through. Okay, so we're going to start on the dot here. We're going to back tack. When I get to my pin, sew to the line and back tack pretty good. Okay, I went back and forth 2 times because I want to really reinforce that part, because when we turn our bag, we don't want to tear our lining. Okay, and back down. We're going to stop at our dot, back tack. By now you should be getting a pretty good grasp of what we're doing, how this is coming together. Okay, so our bottom piece is on. Now we want to attach our other side to the bottom part. Again, not to sound like a broken record, but we need to put our dot here. Okay, 1/4 inch, 1/4 to 1/2 inch in the corner. And we need to stop there. This time you get to sew all the way through because we already made our opening for flipping the bag. This really does go together pretty quick. And that is how it's going to look. So now we want to attach the bottom part of our pocket with the side of the bottom. And what we're going to do is just match those two together and forget everything else. They're not in your way, you don't even care. Match your side with the side. And just push everything else out of your way and pin it. Okay. Sometimes it wants to fight me a little bit, but I just have to show him who's boss. Okay. Start 1/4 of an inch out. Back tuck. And stop at 1/4 of an inch in. Trusty dot right there. And there's my one side of the bag. Okay, so there you go. Look at us. We're just cruising, aren't we? Okay, so I'm going to let you fly solo. Okay, all you're going to do is pick this up and match it to the side. You're going to sew all the way to the top on this one, but don't forget to leave a 1/4 inch corner on your bottom. But then just go all the way through the top with this one, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I'm back, and what I want to do now is just put this in here and just make sure that it's a good fit. Okay, sometimes they're a little bit big and you might have to go around some of the seams a little tiny bit closer. Chances are with this style you won't have to very much. It's actually pretty good for that. Okay, so looks pretty good, huh? Okay, so what I like to do at this point is I push down my corners, make sure they're a real good fit, and then I can see that the top right here is a little too tall for the rest of the bag. So we're going to take very carefully some scissors, and I'm just going to go around and trim that a little bit to be just almost even with the outside piece, if you need to. Some of you will not need to do that. And sometimes I need to, sometimes I don't. Okay, so I'm just going to go around and just remove a little bit of this. It's just excess. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is just take this out, and I want to make the tabs for our handle. And remember, these are your coordinating pieces if you chose to do the different colors. These are our 2 inches by 4 inch. And I'm going to take this, fold it in half. Take this, just very much like we make a handle. Okay. And then I'm going to take one of my small D-rings. Oh, first of all, we're going to sew that up. Okay, we're going to sew on this side and that side. And then I'm going to take my D-ring. I think I'll use red thread on that. That'll look nice. Okay. And I'm going to place this on this side of my bag, right above the pocket. And I'm only going to come down about an inch. And I'm going to sew it onto here. Make sure you go down. I know it's probably sounds like it makes a little bit more sense to go up with it, but that would be wrong. This would be the part that would come out of the top. So just trust me on this one. and come down about an inch. Center that and just sew that on the way it sits. Okay, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I did do one of these, but I thought maybe you would like to see exactly how to get this onto the bag. Some of you are on the beginner side, and I'd like, for you to see me do this. Okay, so I've got my strap done. I did use the red thread, came out cute. Here's the first one I did. So I'm going to come down on this side about an inch. You can pin if you would like, but I'm not going to. Put it over my sewing machine. I took my arm, exposed it so that I can get this all the way on. That's what I wanted you to see. And there really is no other way to do this other than this way that I know of. So I'm just going to go back and forth just twice. I don't want to perforate it. I just want to make it a little bit stronger. Do not go over the same spot a bunch of times, okay? Okay, so it just helps it to stay at that point. And what I do is I just cut this off now. I don't leave it long. I just cut it off flush with the top. Okay. So now I'm going to make our strap, and that is very easy. So we have these two very long pieces that I want to join. Some of you have seen this before, some of you have not. So I want to show those that have not done this before how I do this. So you lay right sides up. And again, you can take this and put the right sides together and just sew across there. There's nothing wrong with that. But I always like to show you the best of the best that I know, and I want to do it diagonally so that it's a little bit more seamless and less bulky. So we're going to lay this right side up. We're going to take this piece and lay it right side down over it, and our idea is to make the perfect L. And put in a pin here. And a pin on the bottom. Okay. Now we're going to take some kind of writing device and a small ruler. And you're just going to draw a line from corner to corner. Okay? Nice diagonal line. If you can't see your line, just lift it up a little bit and just take note of where it is. And then draw a line. Okay? I'm going to take this over to my machine here. And I'm going to sew from this side down. Okay, take my pins out, and I'm going to go ahead and cut off the excess. I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch. Okay. While I'm at the ironing board making the strap, I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Iron it nice and flat, and I'm going to continue on to make my strap. Now, being that it's black, you're not going to see it as well, but that is a beautiful diagonal line. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to take you with me, but I'm going to take one end, and I'm going to fold it over about 1/2 of an inch, and I'm going to press that. Do the same on the other side. Just fold it over and give it a press. Then I'm going to start at one end, and I'm going to press this just in half. And I'm going to do the whole entire strap, taking my time, making sure it's really, really nice and neat. Then I'm going to fold this piece to the folded middle. I never go all the way to the middle. I always leave a little breathing space in between that. Okay, I never go to the middle, because then it just doesn't lay right when I give it a nice fold at the end when I do this fold. Okay, so kind of keep it away from the very, very center. I always leave a small gap. Let me show you what it should look like. Okay, see that little bit of a gap? And after you fold that side down, then you're going to fold this one last time to make your 1/2 inch strap and give the whole thing a really good press. When you're done with that, I'll meet you back here. All right, so I did finish ironing my strap, and you can see how that was done. And I remembered to fold in the end about 1/2 of an inch. I'm going to leave my red thread on. I think that'll make a really pretty accent on this bag. Extend my zipper length to about 3.5. I like to see a nice stitch. Pretty close to the edge, but no risk of falling off, okay? And I don't backtack at that point, because I am going to return to that point, and that's, I'll go back over it just once then. Lovely strap. I like the red. Made it look really, really nice. Okay, so now we're going to put on our tri-glide. And I'll show you how we do that. I've got this really pretty one that I got from Walmart. Comes to a package, and it wasn't very expensive. Little diamonds. So you're going to come up, the diamonds are on the top, so you're going to come up from on one side, and you're going to go over the other side, okay, and I'm going to go ahead and change my thread to the black, because I do have to go over it a few times, and I don't think I want everybody to see the red lines. The red finished work is pretty, but I'm not sure that'll look very good. So I'm going to go ahead and change my thread, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this a nice little square right there, maybe 2 times around, and then I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, so here's your tri-glide. Okay, and here's the side that went through it. We folded it over and sewed it. So now what we want to do is just keep our thumb on the top, get rid of all the kinks, pick up a swivel hook, and the part that you can run your fabric through, the little loop, you're just going to pinch, run it through. You're going to pull this probably the half of the distance of the whole strap. This is not a science part. I'm just giving you a guesstimate. Okay? Now you're going to take the end of this, follow the strap all the way up to your tri-glide, and you're going to come up through the bottom It's a nice tight fit. Okay, I'm going to pull that like that. Okay, pull it all the way till you get to your little swivel hook, and then go back through the other side. Can you hear my dog having a fit outside? She is really something. Okay. And just pull that until you can't pull anymore. Make sure this is nice and straight. There's no loop. Pick up your next one. Go through the bottom here. She is having a fit. Okay. Pull that through, and you're just going to have enough to where it's folded over. Just to have it fold over, and you're going to sew a little square 2 times. And I'm going to go do that on my machine and quiet my dog down so I still have friends in the neighborhood. And I'll be right back. We're going to do the zipper panel now, and it's going to be a little bit different from our previous videos. So here's my extra large zipper, and I'm going to take it and just fold one side over like that, and don't ever pull over the teeth, just where it's really, really comfortable. Okay, so you're just going to fold it back. I don't want real wide wings. I just want it to go down, straight down. And we're going to tack that down with our sewing machine. I need to change my thread back to red. I'll do that after I do this. This will not get seen. Just a couple stitches to hold that down. Enough stitching on the other side, so I'm going to have to redo that one. But see, you get the idea. Okay, that is laid down. I just need to put a couple more stitches in this side. It wasn't getting it. It wasn't obeying me at all. Then, how exciting, we're going to get this done. Oops, okay. So we're just going to set this part aside. So my last 2 pieces are of my cutout are for my zipper panels. And like I said, we're going to do something a little bit different this time. So I'm going to take this over to the ironing board. Well, actually, sorry, before I do that, these pieces were cut at 3.5 by 12 because I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to have until I got to this point. So basically what I do now is I'm going to fold this in about 1/2 inch down. And I'm going to hold it up to my first seam where my pocket is. Then I'm going to push this around until I get to my next seam, and I'm going to mark that. So now I'm going to add just a 1/2 inch to that, and I'm going to cut the rest off. Because I'm going to fold over that end as well. Okay. And then that's going to show me the size of this one. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to fold each end down about a 1/2 inch. Okay, so pretend that's folded. And we're going to do this just like a strap. We're going to fold this in half, press it, fold this to almost meet the middle. Remember, we leave it just the tiniest gap. Fold this side to almost meet the middle. And we're going to give it a really, really good press. We're not sewing anything at this point. Remember, your ends are folded in a 1/2 inch, both of them. So, but make sure on yours, it's that exact size. I show you how to measure it from this seam to this seam, because this one is going to be the exact same over here on this side. Okay, so I'm going to go do that, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. Your ends are nicely tucked in, neat and clean. Okay, and so what I did was I unzipped my zipper. And what I want to do now is I'm going to take the smallest amount of glue, but I want to make sure I'm exactly where I want to be. I'm going to set this in here. The top should meet the top. Make it level. Set it there. Fold this over. And I want to make sure, because the back is going to follow the front. I did a really good press. It's not going to be shorter or longer than the front. It should be exactly the same. And so I want to make sure I have the perfect distance between my zipper teeth and my fabric. And I'm going to say that's really good. So now what I'm going to do, I think I'll put a little, pop a pin. Actually, I'll put a clip in there. And I'll glue that part in just a second. But what I want to do is I'm only going to put glue on the top side. And remember, less is more. I just want to use the smallest little drop ever, ever, ever. Little tiny dots. And they're actually further back. They're nowhere near the teeth. Just going to come down like this. I'm not even going to go to the end because I don't want any of it to come out the bottom. Lift this up, put it in, and I'm not going to make it lay down until I'm sure I've got it all where I want it. I'm not putting it really close to the zipper teeth. Okay. There you go. And because I use so little glue, I'm not worried about any of it coming out. Okay? Put a little tiny bit there. I'm going to do the other side exactly the same way, and I'm going to take about a 5-minute break. I need to give this a little time, okay, to set, so it will not move around. So, and that's what it looks like. The other side, I don't really need the glue because it's going to follow underneath, okay? So we'll do the other side. Okay, so I did zoom in so you can watch me sew this up. Here's my zipper panel. I think it came out really good so far. All we need to do is just sew that part up. Get the zipper way out of the way. And I'm very confident because the glue has already set. So it's not going to move around, okay? So we're going to start here at the top. Use the edge of my presser foot here. So it'll be the perfect distance away from the teeth. I'm going to make my stitch length a little longer, about a 3. And I'm going to go very carefully. I'm going to go forward and then back tack. Just take it really nice and slow. I want that to be a beautiful line right on the edge of the fabric, but not enough for it to go off onto the zipper tape. I'm going to come down, and now I'm going to go across this side. Do that to the top piece, so I need to do that. Go across the back. Back tap. Okay. So I'm going to do my other side off camera. Then we're going to assemble our bag. Can you believe it? We're already there. I'm so excited. And after we assemble our bag, we're going to put this on and we're finished. We are on the home stretch. Basically, we are going to put the bag together and then we're going to sew our zipper panel on. And then we are done. Okay, so this is how I like to do this. I'm going to turn this inside out. Look at all the threads. Oh well. That's okay. They're not going to hurt anything. Holy smokes, there's a lot of threads. Okay. So our bag is now inside out. We're going to take our liner, and that needs to be, remember we left a hole there. I was wondering what that was for a second. And this needs to be facing this way because we always do right sides together when we sew it up like this, don't we? I'm glad we got to do this particular design. I haven't shown you any of this yet. Okay, so this side is the, it's inside out, okay, and this side's inside out, but that's the way we're going to put this inside of here. And decide what side you want your pocket on. Okay, this is the zipper side, so that side's already a little bit heavy. So I'm going to turn the pocket side around so that it's on the other side just for a little bit of balance, okay? And I'm just going to make sure that that fits really well on the bottom. Okay, we're going to start at any end and we're going to start lining up our side seams. Okay, put a pin in there. We already checked for a fit earlier, so we should be well beyond that, okay? And then this seam lined up with this seam. Okay, we're going to do it on the opposite side before we do the middle pieces. Okay, what I like to do now is I take the middle on both sides and just pull it kind of good that way. And that shows me the very center. This is always the really exciting part after we turn it right side out. Okay, so we're going to take the arm off. Mine's already been off. Take the arm of your sewing machine off. Okay. Extend your stitch length to as large as you can go, and the reason I do that is because if something should go wrong, it's not a big deal to take it out. Okay? So at this point, I just leave it on the largest stitch that I can. Doesn't matter where you start at all. Put this over. And I use the side of my presser foot as my guide. That makes it about between a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch, so it's just perfect. I'm going to go slow and sew all the way around. I'm going to take my pins out as I go. Move this around, and your bag will flex. Don't be afraid to pull that down, or it'll try to move your fabric up here. So don't be afraid to be the boss. I'm just checking where my little D-ring is, making sure it's nowhere near my needle. Pushing that down. Making sure that stays down right there. Make sure I can feel it. Okay. Ooh, I got caught on something. Slowly get it caught. Push this down. Don't be afraid to do that. It's fabric. Okay, now I'm coming to the beginning point. I'm going to do a small back tag there, just like that. Woohoo! Okay. Now it's time to birth the bag. And here's my opening on the side. And I'm going to carefully reach my hand in there, and I'm going to take the corners and give them squeeze together. Okay, grab the whole thing, and I'm just carefully going to pull the lining down over the main body of the bag. Like that. Okay, so you can't see it. Then I'm going to reach in and just take one corner and very carefully, if I can find the corner, very carefully pull it out. I don't want to rip the lining. This part I just really go very slow very careful. Very slow. You could have even made the opening much bigger because of the design in the bag. There's really no gussets, okay, because it is 4 pieces, or 5 pieces. 2 side pieces, 2 main body, and then 1 on the bottom. So there's really no gusset. Your gusset is determined, your sides are determined, how wide your bottom of your bag is determined by your side pieces. I'm sure you figured that out, but I just thought I would kind of reiterate that. Glad I really reinforced those pieces. I should have made this just a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay. Put my hand in there, and I'm just going to push out the bottom now. And boy, this is a really good time to inspect everything. Because once you sew this up, oh, do you know what a pain in the neck that would be to have to go back in? But you'd be glad you did the large stitch to close it up. And I have had to do that many, many times. So I figure, doing a little counting, I've made almost over 300 bags. That's crazy. All my own designs, because I don't read patterns, so. Alright, so there it is. We're not going to sew that up yet until we do a great inspection. Push the lining in. We still need to put on our zipper panel. Push that down. Now is the time to take it over and give it a good press. I'm going to turn my camera off and go do that. Isn't that cute? I just love this little bag. It is so cute. Okay, so I'm going to take this over because I want all this pressed down. Push this down a little bit more. And then I'll come back and we're going to put this on, okay? See you in a minute. Woohoo! So we are at that point. And what I'd like to do is, the way we find the middle is we open it up like this. And we're going to match these 2 little guys together, okay? And that's going to show us our middle on this side. I'm going to pop a pin in right there. Here's the middle on this side. Okay. I'm going to fold my zipper panel in half, and that is going to help me find the middle of this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this on the inside of the bag. I'm going to line up these 2 center pins. I'm going to take out the outside one and use this one to just poke it and pin it into place. Now, the placement of the panel can be all the way to the top if you would like. It could come down a little bit if you would like, and I do mean just a little bit. But this one I'm going to make go very high up as I can, because boy, my pocket is right below it. And I like that on this particular bag because it just gives me a little security feeling that you can't see that there's really a pocket in there unless you lift the flap. So I'm good with that. It's not going to interfere with it at all. I'm going to go about 1.5 inches is all, and add another pin. You know what? Before I do anything else, I need to unzip my all the way open, because I've already got it marked, so I'm not worried about that. So every 1.5 inches, I'm going to pin it. And it's perfect. It stopped right here on that side seam, so I'm really pleased about that. I'm really taking my time. I want that just perfect. Push these all the way down, okay, because then they won't get caught on my underneath of my sewing machine. Okay, turn it around. My center pin is right there. Pull that one out and use this one to put my pin in. Okay, so I'm going to finish this and we will sew it together as soon as I do. Okay, so I have it all pinned. My zipper is put inside so that it's completely out of the way. I do like to start in the center. That way I'm not moving and shifting what I've already pinned. And as long as I'm careful, you will not see my start and stop line, okay? I'm going to go ahead and leave my length at probably 3.5, okay? It's still kind of large. I don't like it really tight at this point because if it's already thick as it is, we don't want to, it's a little bit easier if you have a little wider stitch. So lift this up. Again, it doesn't really matter where I start. Something I wasn't happy with, so okay, pull this down just a little bit. This bag is nice and thick. My machine's going to have a breeze. I hope yours, if you just go real slow, you should be okay, but it ended up being a little bit thick on the top. This girl builds a bag, let me tell you right now. No wimpy bags for me. Okay, set that down. Slow back tack, and really watch for your pins. Making little adjustments because the way I pinned it on is contorting the bag just a little tiny bit. I don't have a great love affair with pins, by the way. They're actually kind of annoying to me. But sometimes you just gotta use them, huh? Okay. Okay, now be very careful to turn this around because I have lots of pins underneath. And if it's stuck, don't push on it, don't pull on it. Little baby steps. just love polka dots. They're happy. They're very happy. A lady said that to me one time, and I thought, yeah, huh, they are. They're very happy. We are getting close. So I reached my starting point, a little tiny back tap, and I am finished. Another fun project. So I see a little something that I'm going to have to take out right here. It bunched up a little bit on me, but you know what? That's okay. I can go ahead and take a minute and fix that. So, but I want to move forward and just make sure all this is working. Yes, it is. That's a nice top, isn't it? Okay, well, I'm going to turn my camera off and fix this, and I will be right back. So now I want to make a tab, because the zipper obviously is way too long and needs to be cut down. And what I like to do is, let's see, I want to take it about 3 inches past the little clip right here on the end, okay? So, and then maybe lay down just a little tiny bit after that. So I'm going to measure from here to here, and I bet you that's about exactly, it's okay, it's 3 inches. But I'm not going to cut it yet, because what I want to do, actually I think I will cut it long. So I'm going to give it an extra inch. My rule of thumb is I like it to come well beyond the bag, because we've talked about this before. You want to be able to open your bag all the way. If this is too short, you put a lot of stress on the zipper right here. Okay, so that's about perfect. And how I make my tabs is I have a piece that's 4 inches by 3 inches, because this is a large zipper. Okay, and I always make my zipper tab just a little bit bigger than my zipper. I don't like it to just be the exact same size. I just kind of like it a little bigger. So I'm going to take it over to the ironing board, and my 4-inch sides, I'm just going to fold them over about a 1/2 inch. Okay? And iron them. Then I'm going to fold the whole thing on top of itself, so right sides together. Okay? I'm going to slip this onto my zipper, and I don't put my zipper all the way back, just probably halfway. And here's the end, but I want to make my seam just a little beyond that. Like I said, I don't want it super tight. I don't like my tabs to fit super perfect like that. I like them to be ever so slightly bigger. It's easier if it was pressed. I'm just trying to show you right now how I do that, how I measure it. And I put my pin just a little beyond that, and then I can pull it off. So after I press it, I'm going to take this and sew it right there. Then I'm going to turn it right sides out, and I'll show you how I attach the tab. Okay, so I did make my little seam, and then I pressed it again and made it really, really nice and square, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oh, and by the way, the seam is on the bottom. You know, when I first did it, it was over here on the side, but I just twisted it around and made it on the bottom so that it's nice. You don't see the seam at all. It's underneath. So I push this in and I feel it, and it's about halfway, which is where I want it. And I'm going to put a pin in on this side and one on the other side, so it does not move. You can also put a couple dots of glue in there and let it sit for a minute and it won't move, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm going to just sew just right on the edge all the way around. Then I'm going to come across the zipper, go real slow, but I'm going to do only this another one right behind that one so that I have two seams going across, two top stitches going across the zipper. So just one all the way around. It's just a decorative stitch, that's all it is, but I'm going to do two, one behind the other one across the zipper, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, and I finished my tab. Came out really nice, okay? Woohoo! So now I just have one more thing we need to do. We need to close up the hole in our lining. Some of you have not seen this done yet, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do it. And basically, it already has a fold in it from when we were putting it together, okay? So it's kind of already got a clue of what it needs to do. You can take this and sew it by hand, which I'm going to actually do, okay? So I'm not going to have you watch me do this. Or you can take it over to your machine after you pin it and make a really nice closure on your bag, okay? And then you're absolutely done. This was a really fun project. Takes a while, but it's a whole new design for you. If you want your pockets larger on the outside, you just make your side pockets an inch wider or 2 inches. And I actually made a bag for a gal, a diaper bag in this design, but lots and lots bigger and lots deeper. And these side pockets were 8 inches wide. She had lots of room for her little baby. She was having twins. So we made sure she had a very large bag, but this is the design I chose for her. So I'm not going to show you on camera because I'm just going to sew this up by hand, okay? I just feel like I want to do it this time. But, so I'm just going to put it back in there. We need to put our strap on. I think our strap is just super cute. And if you would like, a lot of my other videos have me make an adjustable strap too, and you can watch those. Maybe those are a little bit more clear directions for you, but hopefully I made that really easy. The more you do it, the more easier it's going to be. So all we have left to do, I'm just going to tuck my little tab in. Put this on. It is so cute. Tuck this in. Cute, cute, cute. Okay. That is so cute. Okay, well this is Lynn with Vicki Bags. I hope you had a lot of fun making this today. Please subscribe and visit our Facebook page and show me pictures of everything you've done. You could even ask me some questions there. But until next time, have a really, really good day. Bye.